Welcome to the Positive Pants Podcast. Mindset, motivation and inspiration to help you find your positive pants. It's time to let go of negative thinking, understand why you do what you do and stop the self-sabotage with your host, Fran Excel.
Welcome to the show. As always, it's Fran Excel, your resident subconscious success mentor, helping you find your very own pair of positive pants so you can get out of your own way and live a life that you love. If you want to stop self-sabotaging your own success and let go of the stress, then you are in the right place, my friend. Make sure you download your free Stressed to Success guided meditation at bit.ly/stress to success as my little gift to you just for being here. Please do subscribe, share and review. It really, really helps people that need to hear this message find us, and I so appreciate it. In the show notes, you'll also find details of how you can work with me and where you can get your mitts on my meditations, products, printables, programs. You can find it through the link in my bio on Instagram, which is my favorite place to hang out. So please do come join me over there at I'm Fran Excel. Tag me in your takeaways, slide into my DMs. I'm here for it. So that's the formalities over, my love. So let's jump to the content. Oh my goodness. Happy Monday! I'm so excited about this episode because it's a goodie and something that is really close to my heart from my own personal experience. And as I mentioned, I also have that super special announcement to make too. So let's dive in. You are not meant to have to figure everything out on your own. This was a lesson I had to learn, and I learned it the hard way. Or should I say, I had to unlearn, because it was hugely against my unconscious programming to not have to figure everything out on my own. I tried to do everything by myself for a really long time. I wore doing everything myself like it was a badge of honor, as if had I had help, it would mean I didn't really do it. I wasn't really responsible for the achievement, or that I was incapable in some way. My belief system and identity was so caught up in needing to be able to do everything by myself. A bit of a lone wolf, perhaps. I wasn't good at asking for or accepting help when it was offered, and it cost me. It cost me time, money, energy, probably a lot of frustration, heartache, and maybe a little burnout thrown in for good measure. But I learned this behavior. Yeah, it's something I still have to consciously work on now, but I am so much better than I ever thought would be possible for me. I have to catch myself in the pattern, which is the magic, right? And I have to recognize where it comes from. We have messages thrown at us all the time in society about being independent, about achieving things by ourselves. That might mean something different to each different person, but for me, that certainly showed up as a deep need to be able to do everything by myself and not ask for help and not accept support. It will also come from your experiences too, lessons that you've learned throughout your life, particularly early childhood, whether it's consciously or unconsciously along the way. So a little bit of story time, because why not? I used to be pretty shy as a child. If I didn't know you very well, it would take me a really long while to warm up. I needed to feel comfortable in people's presence to let my guard down and be kind of like that sassy little confident girl, I learned at a pretty young age that people found this kind of clinginess, this need to have that support, annoying, which is sad. But I also didn't know how to change it, so I continued this clingy behavior and inability to do anything by myself for a really long time. This continued through school, into my teens and early adulthood. I was really, really unsure of myself. I had incredibly low self-esteem and didn't particularly like myself a whole lot. I couldn't do anything by myself. I've talked about this before. I remember going out into bars and things with my friends, and I wouldn't even go to the toilet by myself for fear that they would leave me. It registered as a deep fear to be seen by myself as well. That was another thing that was playing on, that if I was seen by myself, then that meant that I was unlovable and unlikable and didn't have any friends. The irony is that one of my favorite things is to be by myself now. Fran time is my favorite time. So I was kind of high maintenance as a friend, to be honest. I knew it was annoying people, but I felt completely powerless to change it. This is really interesting. I was actually given my old school reports by my parents about a year ago, maybe 2 years. I lose track of the last 2 years, right? And I really saw where this pattern may have started. So one of my teachers, when I was around 8 years old, had written this report talking about how irritating it was that I had an incessant, the word she used, need to sense check everything. Yeah, that I couldn't just go off and do something. I had to double check, triple check everything and ask questions all the time to make sure I was doing the right thing. So she will have been saying these things to me in class, berating me for always asking for help. You know, I would have sensed her frustration. I read this report and I was like, geez, no wonder that was a thing. So I learned it wasn't a good, in inverted commas, behavior to have. It was something that people didn't like. It wasn't a trait that I wanted to have, and I would shame myself for it without knowing how to make it any different or knowing that it even could be. So, trigger warning, emotionally abusive relationship talk coming up. So it made sense that the first real relationship that I found myself in was with someone who was very emotionally abusive, you know, played on my lack of confidence, played on my lack of self-esteem, and always told me what to do, and really didn't give me a whole lot of choice in the matter. Yeah? But in that relationship, I definitely didn't need to ask. I knew where I stood, or I actually wasn't able to. Yeah, it would start to register as unsafe. But when I realized I was in a bad situation, I also didn't have anyone to ask for help because I'd been isolated from so many friends, you know, and I was embarrassed at being in that situation. I felt like I didn't have anyone to turn to. So I really had to figure things out for myself. And it took me about a year, right? And as awful as it was, I really do credit this experience with my strength now. Although it's only when I've been with my husband now for a decade that I also learned that this can go too far the other way, and that you become, you know, fiercely independent, and that you don't allow help and support. So it's difficult to be part of a team with that mentality. Yeah. But eventually later in life, these experiences started to shift my inner world, and this asking for help became an unconscious fear, with my nervous system registering it as unsafe to ask, unsafe to have support or need support. And then came the fierce independence, right? So this is where I made up the story that, you know, and I felt like asking for help made me weak, and that it would allow me to get back into situations like that. So I just didn't. You know, I'd sooner burn myself out or avoid something completely than ask for help or require support from other people. Yeah? I now know the truth to be opposite, that allowing help and support is absolutely transformative and real strength. Yeah, asking for help, doing things in community and collaboration is where the magic is. It's where accountability is. Yeah, it's where things happen and you get things done, because you're allowing people to help you out of this unconscious programming. We're 95 to 99% unconscious, guys. Of course, it's difficult to do things differently sometimes without the help of somebody else. Yeah. But my relationship with Dawnie and Abby and starting the mentorship together has healed and taught me so much about this too. And me watching it in my clients as well when we're doing group programs and obviously in the mentorship. And when you hear this, actually, I'll be fresh back from our retreat, which is a part of that. We will have been in Wiltshire in an amazing house with 13 of us, supporting, collaborating, figuring stuff out together. That would take 10 times longer if we were doing it alone. You know, it is often what one-to-one clients say to me. They're like, oh my goodness. And people who book the half-day VIPs, the amount of stuff that we can get done in 4 hours, they're like, this would have taken me months, if not years, to do by myself. Yeah. It gets rid of your blind spots. It helps you improve quicker, to not make expensive or time-consuming mistakes. It keeps you accountable and out of your unconscious programming. It is absolute gold dust. If I knew then what I know now. You know, the magic is in knowing what to do and having the support to actually do it. Yeah. I see so many people in this trap of doing the learning, reading, and then just kind of leaving it there. Co-regulation is a huge thing in overcoming our past programming. It's something that we use in trauma-informed coaching and trauma-informed therapy. It's providing evidence to our brain and nervous system that it's safe. You know, we're essentially borrowing other people's nervous systems. This is why I love Kerry. Kerry Morse is my tech guru, so to speak. She's amazing because the area where I find it harder to regulate myself is around new tech. She is the calmest person that you will ever meet around that stuff. So I'm like, let me borrow your nervous system for this one, Kerry. Yeah? You are not meant to do it on your own. It's so much harder and takes so much longer than it needs to. Allow help and support to get you through the bits that are harder for you, that are against your unconscious programming. Yeah? So important. And now I feel like it leads in nicely to my super exciting announcement. Oh my gosh! I'm quite nervous in a good way. The Positive Pants Toolkit app and community is live. Oh my goodness! So it's a monthly subscription where you have full access to the app all the time, which contains tons of my tried and tested science-backed tools and techniques that I use with all my one-to-one clients that I teach in my programs, and is to help you create real So if you got value from this and you know in your gut that now is the time to step up and start rewiring your thinking and start changing things for yourself, then book in a free discovery call so we can work out what needs to happen to get you from where you're at right now to the action-taking success you know you can be. If you want my eyes and ears on your problems, then I work with people one-on-one and through my programs. You can find all the details to booking a call in the show notes, the link in my bio on Instagram, and on my website, franexcel.com. So stop waiting for if and when and choose to change things now because you can. I'm here to believe in you when you don't believe in yourself. And as always, I hope you found this helpful, and I'll see you next week. Bye.